Hello YouTube, my name is Transient Lion and the character I'm talking about today is Renji Abarai. Um, Renji's a character that gets a lot of, well, he's not unpopular obviously, but in universe he just kind of gets a raw deal a lot. I don't think it would be inappropriate to say that he's kind of like the Yamcha of, of Bleach. And, that that is kind of unfair because he does get moments in the sun to shine, and like he definitely starts off as a really good character. But so I guess maybe he's more of the Krillin of Bleach, which is also weird because he's not really a comic relief character. Not that Krillin is either, but yeah, he just gets disrespected by by the in-universe things that happens to him a lot, which sucks because he starts off really strong. Because when he's introduced, he's very much set up as like a mid-arc rival for Ichigo. Um, he shows up, like he's the first Soul Reaper that Ichigo meets that isn't Rukia, I think. I don't know. There might have been some minor characters in the Karakura Town arc that I just forgot about, but he's definitely the first like major Soul Reaper he meets um, that isn't Rukia, and obviously he's showing up with Byakuya to kidnap Rukia and set her up to be executed, and so obviously Ichigo tries to protect her, but he just cannot he just can't win against this guy. And like Renji's kind of the character that shows off that Soul Reaper's swords can transform, and like I remember thinking that was so fucking cool when I first saw that. I was like, whoa, this guy's sword changed. Oh, how naive I was back then. But yeah, just like um Renji's also like just given a lot of weight and importance during the first half of the Soul Society arc, because obviously if you have an antagonistic character set up, or like, yeah, he was in an antagonistic position. If you have an antagonistic character like defeat the main character in direct combat, it usually is to set up them to like be overcome later in the arc or later in the story somewhere. And it really does like feel compelling seeing Renji be this rival to Ichigo for most of that time. And when Ichigo and Renji meet up again in the Soul Society arc to actually have their like climactic battle, it's given a lot of weight because by then we actually know that Renji really cares about Rukia, and he's only really doing this because it's the law, and he has to work it. He has to work that way, and because Byakuya is also very law-abiding, and Byakuya is his captain. That that absolutely does like paint a very clear picture of why Renji is fighting so much to ensure that his childhood friend dies. And you see the turmoil that he goes through when Ichigo and Renji are fighting. Like, and plus, after Renji's defeated, he actually just completely has a change of heart and realizes, oh yeah, this law is stupid. She didn't do anything wrong. And so he joins Ichigo to train with his Bankai, and I don't know if Renji's Bankai was the first we... No, no, no. Renji's Bankai wasn't the first one. Mayuri's was. But, like... Renji's Bankai being revealed later on in the arc when he tries to fight off Byakuya later is... It's this really cool thing, because, like, it's the first time a protagonistic character is using one. And, like, when it's revealed, it's just this giant, like, snake dragon thing, and with like a skull head, and it's shooting lasers and shit. It's really cool. I do feel like it is kind of hard to give Renji a fight with Hihio Zabimaru that is like dynamic, given just how big the Bankai is. And I definitely feel like that might have been a roadblock that Kubo struggled to overcome with later fights of his. But a benefit of that, him revealing his Bankai was that when he revealed it and started using it against Byakuya, Byakuya was pretty clearly established to be Ichigo's bad guy at that point, and so, yeah, Byakuya kind of wrecks him without using his own Bankai, I think. So, like, that's actually, that's, like, very cleverly used to set up the, like, main conflict and, establish how tough the like main bad guy is at that point in the story. But yeah, after that though, Renji just kind of either beats people who aren't very important, or he just straight up keeps losing fights. Like, he beats one of Grimmjow's fractions that don't matter in the beginning of the Urwankar arc, but then he fights against Xyloper Ogrons and gets his shit pushed in along with Uryu, and neither of those fights are all that great. Like, maybe Xyloper was a little bit more entertaining because it's showing off how strong an Espada is. But, like, yeah, it's not a very good point in Renji's character development. But then after that, I don't remember if he fights anyone in the Fullbring arc. Does he fight Jackie? I think he fights Jackie. And, like, all of those execution fights, that weren't, like, Byakuya versus Tsukishima and Ichigo versus Ginjo, all of those were kind of supposed to be stomps on the Soul Reaper's side. Hell, even Ichigo versus Ginjo was. But, like, yeah. It's just not a good point in time for Renji as a character, because, like, I definitely think that after the Soul Society arc ended, Renji should have at the very least been offered a captain position, because he has a Bankai. Like, I don't remember if you need to do anything else to qualify for being a captain in Bleach, but having a Bankai that people know about is probably one of those things. So, like, you know, he could have been offered a captain position at that point, and it would have been really cool to see an up-and-coming captain as one of the, like, major recurring good guys, since Renji was one of those at that point. Especially since, there were kind of 3 empty captain slots at that point. It would have been really good development for the character if he had become a captain and had to go through a whole-ass character arc of him learning how to captain good. But I don't know if, I don't know if Kubo wanted to write something like that. I don't know if he wanted to do anything that major with the character. But yeah, it's just like a dry spell where the character is obviously a part of the major recurring protagonistic cast, but he just doesn't get a lot of time to shine, and he's not even portrayed as a rival to Ichigo anymore. Because, when the Arrancar arc rolls in, Grimmjow kind of takes that position and does it way better. And there's no room for Renji to join in to that because Ulquiorra is another rival that happens to immediately come in and also be set up for Ichigo to defeat later on. And, Renji doesn't get to fight anyone strong and win. And, it's not like you need to do that to be a good character, but if that's all you're going to do, then, I mean, yeah, it's kind of disappointing. Kenpachi gets more character development than a lot of people might initially think, although it becomes a lot more obvious during the Blood War. But most of what he does is fight and defeat strong people, and that's really compelling and it's what makes him interesting. And I feel like I'm not saying that Kenpachi robbed Renji of this opportunity, but Renji could have probably been in that role for at least a little while. But, I mean, Either way, the last moment that Renji gets to shine is in the Blood War, where, he joins Ichigo in the Soul King Palace and, trains with him a bit. And then, when he finally goes down into the Blood War, he's facing off against this guy who's just absolutely shit-stomping 2 captains. And then he's just wrecking him in Shikai. And, these are visored captains, too, so, they have hollow masts and shit. And this guy was wrecking them, and Renji starts wrecking him. And it's just ooh, I like this! This is really cool! And then, in the fight against Master Masculine, it's revealed that Renji's Bankai was actually, not in its true form for most of the series. And so Renji gets his own true Bankai, and it's just, really cool looking. I think that, Sou Zabimaru is, a really good evolution of what it was, and it might possibly be a transcendent Zanpakuto, but I don't want to get into that kind of speculation at this point. But it's still really cool to see. It's still really cool to see Renji get that kind of love in the last arc, especially since Kubo probably noticed that he wasn't giving Renji a lot of really cool moments up until then. But yeah, after the Master Masculine fight, Renji doesn't get to do much. And, at first you think that he's, joining in the final battle against Yuhavak, but that turned out to be, an illusion created by Kyoka Suigetsu. and it's just like, yeah, that's a really cool twist, and I like seeing Aizen do stuff like that. But Renji didn't get a lot of actual like character development because it's not like Master Masculine is the kind of character that like pushes Renji's personality to the limits or challenges anything about his morals or anything. A lot of captains actually did get those kinds of things in the Blood War, but Renji didn't get that kind of development, even though he got like a really major power boost and defeated a really strong bad guy. And then when the 10-year time skip happened at the end of the war, or at the end of the arc, at the end of the manga, it's revealed that he doesn't even get to become a captain. Like, if you weren't going to have him become a captain after the Soul Society arc, and thinking back on that, I think it's obvious why he didn't become a captain. Now that I'm realizing it, like, I don't think Yamamoto is the kind of person who would promote a Soul Reaper who helped out the Ryoka that were invading the Seirete. Like, even with Aizen being the one who was behind it the whole time, like, I still don't think that Yamamoto would want to help Renji, want to reward Renji for his behavior. So yeah, I guess that's thematically fine, but him not becoming a captain after the Blood War is just baffling to me, because, like, stupidly Rose and Kensei survived, even though they really shouldn't have. And, like, I think the insulting part to me is that Tetsuzaimon becomes one. Fucking Tetsuzaimon Iba, the guy that I'm pretty sure we don't even know what his Shikai looks like. Lieutenant of Sajin Komamura, who is who most people probably know as just that guy in the sunglasses. That guy was apparently good enough to become a captain when Mr. I killed the superstar that was destroying other captains. Mr. I'm probably stronger than almost everyone else in this room. Renji doesn't get rewarded like that. At the end of the day, he's still a lieutenant. Like, he's definitely the strongest lieutenant in the Seirete now, but he just isn't a captain, and that bothers me. Like, Lisa's a visored, I get that. Isane was the lieutenant of the healing corps, and I get that, because, like, she was probably the second best healer in the Seirete when Unohana was still alive. But, oh my god, why did Tetsuzaimon have to be... why did he have to be promoted to captain and Renji wasn't? I know a lot of people say, oh yeah, Byakuya should have died, and Renji should have probably taken his place. And, like, I do agree on some level that it would have been very compelling that for Byakuya to die against Osnote, but, I don't really have any problem with him living, personally. But hey, at least the one thing that we can take from all of this is that Renji got to live out what most of the fan base wanted to do. He impregnated Rukia Kuchiki. Anyway, I think that's about all that I wanted to say. Yeah, if you want to hear me talk about any Bleach, Naruto, One Piece, Dragon Ball, Jojo, or Kingdom Hearts characters, please post it in the comments below, and I will potentially get to it. Have a nice day.